all the time?
You won't even know it's there. Yeah.
It's on now.
Yeah.
Well, he can edit.
Okay, today is the 17th of December, 2008. We are at the Isaac C. Griswold Library in Whitehall, New York, and we are interviewing a World War II veteran, Robert Swinton, and my name is Wayne Clark. I am the interviewer. Mr. Swinton, for the record, would you please state your full name and your date and place of birth?
Robert H. Swinton, and I was born July 19th, 1923 in Whitehall.
Okay, did you attend school in Whitehall?
Yes, 12 years.
Okay, and what year did you graduate?
1940.
Okay, and do you remember where you were when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I was working on the railroad, and we were just leaving the Rouse's Point terminal, and somebody told us about it.
Mm-hmm. And what was your reaction?
Couldn't believe it.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't believe it.
Okay, and when did you go into the service?
October 1943.
Okay, did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was about to be drafted, and fortunately I was able to join the Navy.
Okay, now from Pearl Harbor till the time you went in 43, did you continue to work for the railroad?
Oh yes.
Okay, and do you remember what it was like in Whitehall during that time? Was there rationing, or was there a lot of troop movements through the area?
Well, we had troop trains. I worked on troop trains even.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And a lot of coal trains that went to Canada to be shipped overseas.
Uh-huh.
Other stuff too, of course.
Okay.
The railroad was very busy.
Okay. And how far did you travel on the trains?
Well, generally from Whitehall to Rouse's Point.
Okay.
Sometimes Whitehall to Okinawa.
Okay.
And the branch lines. I did it all.
Okay. And what was your job with the railroad?
Well, at that time I was a fireman, shoveling coal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you went into the Navy. Why did you pick the Navy?
Well, my brother-in-law went, my best friend went,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I decided to go there.
Okay. Did you have any relatives in the First World War that possibly were in the Navy, or?
No, not that
Okay.
I know of.
Okay. All right. And whereabouts did you go for your basic training?
Sampson, New York.
Okay. And what was that like?
Well, they give us a hard time, but we could do it.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what was the date that you entered the service?
October of
October.
43.
Okay, so it must have been pretty cold in Sampson then.
Oh yes, yes. We were supposed to have small boat training, but it was too cold to go on the lake
Mm-hmm.
at Geneva.
Okay. And how long was that basic training for?
7 weeks.
Okay. Was it a tough basic training? Did you?
Well, yeah, in a way, but I had been shoveling coal for a couple of years. I was in pretty good shape.
Uh-huh. Did you have any weapons training at all at Sampson?
Yeah. I think we fired a .22 caliber about 10 times.
Uh-huh. Okay. Once you graduated from Sampson, where did you go next?
They sent me to Bainbridge, Maryland for Gunnery School.
Okay. And what type of guns did you train on?
Well, first we tried it was all of the Navy guns. It was general.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was about 7 weeks also.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, they sent me to advanced gunnery school in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan,
Okay.
at the General Motors plant.
Okay. And what type of training did you receive there?
Well, it was mostly anti-aircraft,
Uh-huh.
because evidently I was headed for the amphibious, and what we had was 20s and 40s, and that's what they trained mainly in.
Okay. And once you completed that training, where were you shipped to?
From Bainbridge to Michigan to Norfolk. Norfolk in that area, actually Camp Bradford,
Mm-hmm.
was amphibious training.
Okay, and what was that training like? What did they have you doing?
Well, they had a mock-up of an LST. It's evidently that's where I was heading, and we
Mhm.
used to train on that. And we got gunnery practice with actual targets going towed by a plane,
Mm-hmm.
and most of that was it. And
Okay.
working on the guns.
Okay. Were you trained in any sort of like beach assaults or anything
Well,
like
yes. Yeah, we took a shakedown, not a shakedown, but a practice cruise on Chesapeake Bay and practice landings.
that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And once you completed that training, whereabouts were you sent?
We boarded a train and ended up in Chicago Navy Pier.
Mm-hmm.
Our ship was not ready yet. Our ship was being built in Evansville, Indiana, and so we were stationed at Navy Pier until that was ready.
Okay. All right. And once the ship was ready, you took it out on a shakedown cruise?
Well, not initially. It was Evansville, Indiana. It was on the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm.
So we boarded the ship, but there was a skeleton crew on there that took it down to New Orleans. And from there on, we did our shakedown out of New Orleans.
Okay. So you were what they considered a plank holder?
Well,
What they call a plank holder? Because you
well,
were...
yeah, that's true. Sure.
Okay.
It was a brand new ship.
Okay. And did you encounter any problems on the shakedown cruise?
A little seasickness out on the Gulf sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the storms came up. We were used to that.
Okay. All right. And after the shakedown, what happened next?
Well, we loaded up. Our first cargo was 38,000 cases of beer. And so we headed across the Gulf to Panama, through the Panama Canal up to San Diego. And up there we got pontoons strapped to the side.
Uh-huh.
And part of another type of landing craft on the top deck. And we lost our cargo of beer, though.
Mm-hmm.
They were a little short, they said, when they got there.
Okay, did you pick up any other cargo besides
No.
that?
No.
Okay.
At Pearl Harbor, we
So you headed to
headed to
Pearl Harbor.
next, yes.
Okay, how long did it take you to get to Hawaii?
Oh gosh, I don't know, but quite a while because landing craft were very slow.
Uh-huh.
10 to 11 knots was good.
Yeah. Okay. Once you got to Pearl Harbor, what was that like? Was there still a lot of evidence of the attack?
Well, you could see the Arizona and all that, you know, from the bombing, yes, but
Yeah.
otherwise not.
Okay. All right. And how long were you in Hawaii for?
Oh, about 2 weeks.
Okay. And what did they have you doing during those 2 weeks?
I don't really recall. We had liberty though,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Okay.
Just regular duties, and we were working on our guns. We had to keep them clean on account of the salt air was
Mm-hmm.
very corrosive, and we kept busy.
Okay. And once you left Pearl Harbor, where did you go next?
At Pearl Harbor, we picked up a Marine outfit, and we headed across, and we ended up in the Russell Island group, and this Marine group departed,
Mm-hmm.
and from there we went to New Guinea, and we were in a kind of a landing operation there, but there was not much military action at that time.
Uh-huh.
But once in a while a plane would come over, and we'd shoot at it.
Uh-huh.
But outside of that, not much there.
Okay. Aboard ship, what was your living quarters like?
Well, not too bad actually. The bunks were 3 high in the compartment I was in.
Uh-huh.
Not too bad.
And how many crew were aboard ship?
We're supposed to have 120. I don't think we ever had a full complement.
Okay. And what was your food like?
Good. Good. Can't complain about the food.
Okay. All right. After New Guinea, where did you go?
Well, at New Guinea, we formed up with a convoy because we were going to take part in the invasion of Luzon in the Philippines. And that's where we went. January 9th was D-Day there.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what year was that?
Hmm?
What year was that?
Let's see, we're getting into 45.
Okay, that was 45.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And what was that invasion like?
Well, I never saw so many ships in my life. And when we got to the site, there was battleships that were shelling the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And how anything could live through that, I don't know. It was terrific. And there was a few jet planes come over, but not too many.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did your ship knock any of them down?
not at that time, no.
Okay.
We shot at them.
Okay. Now, I meant to ask you this earlier. Did you have any encounters with the Japanese at all? Outside of seeing planes go over?
No.
Okay.
There were snipers around, but we didn't get any fire from them.
Okay. And you never took fire from any of the
No,
ships
not
at all?
really.
Okay. All right. And once the invasion was over, did you stay in the Philippines?
Yes, we did. We went to a lot of the Philippines. Well, I think the next one we took a army group. Let's see, we took the army group into Lingayen Gulf, and then we took another army group and went to Leyte.
Mm-hmm.
Leyte had already been invaded. We were about a week or so after the initial invasion.
Okay.
That was an army group.
All right. And what happened next?
Well, there was a little action at Leyte. There was Japanese planes coming around.
Okay.
We got to use our guns again,
Okay.
and we figured we knocked off one.
Uh-huh.
But then there's a lot of claims like that. If all the claims were there that were true, there was no Jap planes left.
Okay. And did your boat suffer any damage at all?
Not from enemy fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And were you in any of the Typhoons at all?
Well, that wasn't until after we invaded Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
After Okinawa, we got into the awfulest storm I'd ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Typhoon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in 45. Well, let's see, we invaded Okinawa on April 1st of that year.
Okay. What was that like?
Oh, that was a tough one.
Was that the toughest invasion?
Oh, that was the worst one I ever was in.
Okay. How so?
Well, it was constant kamikazes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they just constantly. We were general quarters, printer all the time, and I know on a convoy going to Okinawa, the kamikazes were attacking the whole convoy, and this one came over, and we were shooting at it, and he came right over us very low, and he dropped the bomb, and it just missed us, but then he crashed into a PA, troop carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Missed us, the bomb missed though.
Okay.
Things like that were happening all over there.
Okay. How many ships did you see get hit?
That what?
How many ships did you witness being hit or struck by the kamikazes or?
Well, that was right close to us, and I saw it. It was right, very close. But at times you would see a lot of smoke coming up, and you knew they were getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How long did that invasion last into Okinawa?
Well, for our part, we were only there 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks. Because after we unloaded our marine outfit, we would shuttle supplies from Liberty ships that were out trying to hide behind the islands.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our thing with ammunition and fuel and all that stuff.
Did you carry any wounded at all?
No. No, we were slated to, but it didn't happen.
Okay. All right. And what did you do after Okinawa? Where were you sent?
After Okinawa, they sent us to New Caledonia,
Mm-hmm.
down towards Australia, not that way. And this was our, I guess they called it R&R.
Uh-huh.
And we relaxed for a while there.
In New Caledonia?
Yeah.
Okay. What were the people like there?
That was a French possession.
Mm-hmm.
And I would try to use my high school French with them. Didn't work. They didn't know what I was talking about. But we got along. They knew if we wanted a beer, they knew what we wanted.
Uh-huh. And how much time did you spend there?
I think we were there about 3 weeks.
Okay.
It was very relaxing. There was deer on the mountain, and because I had charge of the armory, and the captain let anybody who wanted to go hunting could go hunting. And they came down, and they cleaned out every gun I had.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson submachine guns, 45s, to go hunting. You
Jeez.
imagine that? I wouldn't go with that group.
Did they shoot anything?
Yes, they did. Yeah, they brought a couple of them back.
Oh. Now what did you do with the deer? Did you
Oh yeah, they fixed it up for us.
on board?
Yeah, we had good cooks.
Uh-huh. Okay. And after New Caledonia, where did you go next?
We're back up to the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we many of the islands in the Philippines we went to were just transporting troops and supplies and
Uh-huh.
things. No more real invasions in that area.
Okay.
And we finally loaded up and went to Ulithi. There was a big meeting place for convoys, and we were loading up for the invasion of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness that the bomb was used and we didn't have to do that.
Okay. Do you remember where you were when you heard about the death of President Roosevelt?
Not really. I do remember hearing the news.
Uh-huh.
Now, was that in May, I wonder?
I believe April or May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, April 1st, we were on the invasion of Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
Okay. All right. Once you heard that the atomic bombs were dropped, did you hear anything about the devastation or have any idea about how powerful those bombs would be?
Yes, they told us that it was very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it did the trick. We didn't have to take our people into Japan, and that would have been devastating
Mm-hmm.
for everybody.
Okay. All right. Once the war was declared over, was there a lot of celebration aboard ship?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay. And once the war ended, where did you go next? Did you go into Japan at all?
Yes, yes. Instead of the invasion forces, we took an occupying force to into Tokyo, Yokohama. That was our first trip, and we had liberty there. It was interesting, but Tokyo was certainly a mess.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't much left there.
How were you treated by the Japanese people?
Very good, very good. And especially on the second trip, we took another trip. We took a load of troops to the northern island, Hokkaido,
Uh-huh.
and at the port of Otaru. And the skipper had some passes for us to go on their railroad, which interested me pretty much. And so we got to ride on a Japanese railroad from Otaru to Sapporo, which was the capital of Hokkaido. And when we got off the train and we were going down the street, there was a big banners across, "Welcome Americans." But our skipper had told us, don't trust them. But they were very friendly. I mean, they knew the war was over. Their emperor had told them that it was over, and that's what we did.
Okay. And how much time did you spend in the Japanese islands?
I think we were about 10 days up there. Yeah.
Okay. And then where did you go?
Well, let's see. Went back to Ulithi, the big meeting place, and then to Saipan. And that's when I was married. I had enough points, and I got off the ship right there, and put me on the beach with my sea bag. And that afternoon, aircraft carrier showed up, the San Jacinto, and we got aboard, and in 11 days I was back in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you discharged from San Francisco?
No, Lido Beach, New York.
Okay. So you landed at San Francisco, and then you were on Liberty,
Oh yeah.
and how did you get back to Whitehall?
Well, one of my friends was with me. He went almost about a week after we were there. Went by train, and I'm still there. And so finally I went down to the office. I says, I've been here for near 2 weeks. What's going to happen? Oh, he says, you're going to fly to New York. That was a surprise.
Oh.
So I flew to New York. I got there before my buddy.
What kind of airplane was that?
I think they called him DC-6.
Okay.
Hold about 20 people maybe.
Okay. How long did your flight take?
16 hours, 5 stops.
Okay. All right. And once you got to New York, did you take the train up to Whitehall?
Not right away. Well, I did finally after the, what do you call it, getting out process.
Oh, okay, so you were discharged first.
Oh, yeah, I was discharged from there. I was
Okay.
there, I don't know, a week or so.
Okay. And what rank were you when you were discharged?
Excuse me?
What rank were you when you were discharged?
Gunner's mate, 2nd class.
Okay. All right, and then you came home?
Yeah. Well, no, my wife met me in Albany.
Okay. And you took...
Then, after a while, we went home.
Okay. And you took the train up to Albany?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Once you got back to Whitehall, how were you able to find work? Did you go back to work on the railroad
Oh, yes,
right away?
yes, my job was there for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
No, nothing.
Okay. And I take it you went right to work on the railroad, so you didn't use the 5220 club?
No, I didn't have to use that.
Okay. All right. Did you ever use the GI Bill at all to buy a home or anything? Okay. What was it like for you becoming a civilian after being in the war? Did you have any problems adjusting at all?
I'd wake up in the middle of the night for a while there with cold sweats,
Uh-huh.
but I had contracted in the Philippines a fever, a malaria-like fever called dengue fever.
Oh, okay.
And I would wake up in the middle of the night and sweat.
Mm-hmm.
But that would pass. That passed after a while.
Okay.
There was no problems.
Okay. Did you get any sort of disability compensation for that?
No.
Okay. All right. And I meant to ask you, when you were in service, did you see any USO shows at all? Any sort of entertainment like Bob Hope or
No.
any of the shows?
Nothing like that. I
Nothing?
don't know if they ever got out that far.
Okay. All right. And how do you think your time in the service changed or affected your life?
Well, I just realized how lucky I was to get back
Mm-hmm.
and appreciate this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you join any veterans organizations?
The American Legion. Yeah.
Okay. And did you attend any sort of reunions or anything?
Oh yeah. In 1984, one of our people contacted everybody he could, and we started having reunions in '84,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still having them.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you've been in contact with a lot of the guys
Oh yes.
you've served with.
Yeah. Been great.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about that we may have missed?
No.
Any incidents or anything, or funny experiences
Funny?
besides the beer disappearing?
No, I guess not.
Okay.
Well,
Well.
one of the worst memories I have is at Ulithi. I saw this aircraft carrier coming in, and it was lopsided under its power, but it was the Franklin, and my best friend was on there,
Uh-huh.
and he had been killed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your interview.
Okay.